Hey guys, so in an earlier video I referenced the bent floor panel that we discovered on the boat, and I just broke the boat down, aired all the tubes down so I could get access and remove the last two panels to assess the damage, and here is the result. It's pretty buckled. I can't imagine what the heck would cause that floor panel to buckle to that level, but it's considerable. I think we can bend it back into shape though, rather than bother with trying to get a replacement, which I'm sure will cost a few bucks. I think we can just bend this one back into shape and then do a couple of support spines that we're going to do down the floor here to make it rigid so that does not happen again. Because the way they're designed is great, because they make the boat so that it can be broken down. You don't have to keep it inflated, but I'm never going to break this boat down again, God willing. So I don't need to compromise on the floor rigidity with these side struts. I can simply just put permanent ribs down the sides and never have to worry about floor flex or any of this happening ever again. So I think that's the route we're going to go. We'll use aluminum, of course, so that there's no rust issues, corrosion issues. But we will go ahead and hammer this back into shape here. Let's check the other side. It's pretty gnarly that it even happened in the first place if you think about it. It's a pretty serious bend. I can't think of anything that would have caused that was like abrupt. Maybe just poor placement of the side struts in combination with the seats that I put in pushing against the tubes. I don't know. It's interesting though. It's interesting from the perspective of, we learn lessons with these things. These boats are engineered pretty darn well, and we do our best to kind of learn as we go with them and figure new things out. And, sometimes, we have to have a little bit of a fail in order to have a lesson learned so that we can make improvements. And in the case of this boat, with the kind of riggers I've been putting it under, I have not gone easy on it. The intercoastal is very choppy with all kinds of very large boat wakes and such. I have definitely put this boat to the test. So if this is the worst failure I've encountered, I'm not really complaining. It's a very minor thing to repair, and should also again mention that this is a part that Boats to Go does keep in stock. There are replacements available for this. So it's not like, you can't go get another one. You can. I just don't feel it's necessary. I feel like it's very easy to bend it right back in shape. These panels here are all this interlinked, and they're held together with rivets that hold everything together here. So it's really this that just needs to be bent, and then the floor will just come right into shape. It's just these end supports. So I'm just going to bend that back into shape on both sides, and we're going to be fine. Let's put a little hammer to it, a little rubber mallet, and we'll be in good shape. We'll be back in ship shape in no time. This channel, guys, is all about learning, even if it's at my expense. So, not just one bent floorboard, but two bent floorboards. The other one up by the front, by the other custom seats I had in here. And not nearly as bad as the other one, and only on one side. All fixed, by the way. Not a big deal. Rubber mallet, put it on the floor, took them out, knocked them right back into shape. Done deal. So as it turns out, this was all because some bozo did not check his support struts. When I assembled this boat, they might not have been in the absolute perfect position, meaning the crease between the floor panels was right in the middle of the support struts, right? They are now. They might not have been perfect, but they were pretty close, I thought. But again, this boat has been in some seriously heavy chop every time we've taken it out, and I have not gone easy on it because I've been testing it. I want to see what it would do. It is possible that through the constant flexing and pounding of these waves and wakes and all that stuff, that they might have shifted a little bit or come loose at some point. The other thing is the feet of my custom seat brackets was riding on top of the lip that those support struts, couple onto. And these could have shifted maybe an inch or two one direction or another, while it was hitting said wakes and knocked them loose a few times, enough for the boat to pop and create an issue where the floorboards came loose and then bent, so on and so forth. What did I do to solve it, Rob? Well, Captain Bob's gonna tell you. I basically put this sucker on its side and pushed against the seat up the upper part, bent the legs in, just using my body weight, bent the legs in on this side, then the same on that side, pushed from the top, bent the legs on this side. So now you can see that the feet are riding in a position where they're inset from that lip, front and rear. They're still completely stable. They still are rock solid. They're still being held in here at the same pressure point that held them in before. Just now, the feet are nowhere near the support struts where they're going to compromise it if the thing gets pounded a little. I did note that on this rear seat, because it's being pulled in a little more narrow by the transom here, I did have to put a little felt cushion here in between the tube and the seat. But I don't need to do it up here because I guess the seats are inboard more on this frame. These frames are probably handmade and they're not identical one to the next. And the rear one might just be a little off. I don't know. Doesn't matter. What does matter is that the problem has been fixed and I learned a very valuable lesson that I am now going to pass on to you guys. Make sure your support struts are perfectly aligned, covering the middle gap between the panels as close to the middle of those struts as possible, so that they have as good a grip as possible. And if you're going to use my custom seat bracket idea, bend the bracket so that the feet are inboard of those lips, so they're nowhere near where the support struts are at. And this, I feel very confident, will solve that problem and it will never happen again. Again, I do still want to do the spines running top and bottom, just because it will make the boat more permanently rigid. And I think that's a great idea, and it's something I'm definitely going to do on the channel, and I'm going to show you guys when I do it. But for now, this will definitely solve the problem. And it also makes sense that when I looked at my GPS footage, when I hopped up on plane initially to do the speed test under heavy load, we touched 15 miles per hour and climbing for a split second, then all of a sudden we hit that wake and it went 14, 13, 12, and then just sat at 12 and seemed to be plowing. It's because the bottom of the boat was getting deformed. The keel was not perfectly aligned because of the bend in the floorboard, which was creating a hump in that as well. It should also be noted, because I think I forgot to mention it, that again, some bozo forgot to put the safety cover over the keel valve, and when my daughter was scurrying around up here at one point, she tapped it and let a little pressure out at one point. That was after the speed test, but still, nonetheless, it was affecting the handling of the boat, I'm sure, if we had tried to put it up to any type of speed the rest of the day at that point. We didn't, we just cruised, but had we wanted to do another speed test, that would have affected it greatly. Make sure your safety valve cover caps are on so that you have your pressure in there and it stays in there. And do what I just showed you if you're going to do this seat solution, and everything's going to be all good. No more problems, no more issues. And we're going to have to go back out now and repeat that test with all the people on board, maybe even some more people, because I really want to push it, because that's what this channel's about. I want to push this boat. So anyways, that's what happened. It was my fault. And now I'm going to make sure that I check these struts every time we're out to keep an eye on them, make sure they're not shifting, make sure that everything's good, and that way we won't have any further issues. All right, guys, just thought I'd share that, and that way you guys don't make the same mistake. Until next time.